So let's go on. And if I'm repeating myself from yesterday, it's good, because you guys must now get to a point where you understand this type of calculation. Okay. So the moment they give me an increase or a decrease of a percentage, you know your base is going to be 100, meaning before or after the increase is 100. Can you see that if they were to tell you it was a 10% decrease, you would have just subtracted the 10%, right? So now what do I do? And it's actually an extremely short calculation. You have your financial year. You know your year ends February, so it means it starts March. What information do I want? I want to first of all know, right, when did the increase decrease happen? And they say to me it happened on the 1st of December. So, before the increase, after the increase. No. And then they tell me rent has been paid 3 months in advance. Meaning they paid me for March, April, and May. Okay. Now, can you see that those months is after the increase? Meaning each one was 110%. Does that make sense? Okay. So now what I do is I'm going to say how many months was before the increase. So it's March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 9 months we received 100%. Then December, January, February, March, April, May, 6 months we received 110. Ne? Because even though this is not part of this financial year, I did receive it in this year, meaning it's part of the rent income that they give me here. Oh, not this one. Where else? I don't have it with me. Okay, so now this gives me 660. Oh, there's the rent income. See? So that 234 is for 15 months. So this is 15 months. I want to subtract the 3 months that's in advance so that I can only show the 12 months applicable for this year. That's the goal I have. So now if I go look, I say I have a weight now of 1560. What do I mean with a weight? This is now, remember, I'm going to use the UK method. Unknown over known. Can you see the known is that 234,000, ne? Can you see the known is the 1560? What is the unknown? The unknown is the 3 months in advance. Can you see it gives me 330? You are also welcome to say 110, and then your answer you times with 3. You'll get the same. So now I see how much is received in advance. 49,000.
500.
Okay. Sharp. So now when I go to my income statement with rent income, which is 234, I am going to subtract 49,500, and that will give me 005 how much?
184,500.
Okay, everybody happy? Please, I want you to mark this one. Highlight this and say video. Just go do yourself a favor. You highlight this one and you say there's a video, so that when you get to studying and you get to this adjustment and you have no clue how to do it, you know there is a video You go watch it. Okay. Now let's do the loan statement. So the loan statement again. If you struggle with the loan statement, you highlight and you say, there is a video. Okay. Go look for the video. So now let's do the loan statement. So if I look at the loan statement, I got a T account, loan. I have an opening and a closing and a bank, and a interest on loan. Okay. I know this bank, is my payment on the loan and the interest. The opening less the closing is the payment on the loan. Okay, just make sure that you understand that. Now, the opening is 948, the closing is 600. So how much did I pay back on the loan? Not on the interest and the loan. How much did I pay back only on the loan? Can you see it's that difference? Ne? The 348,000. So I paid back 348,000 on the loan. Okay. Now, how much did I pay back in total? And they say here 423. Okay. So now let's balance. How do I balance? I add those two. I subtract that one. It gives me interest is how much? Say again. 775. Oh, is that what you guys said? Okay. I want to show you this little thing here. Because if you understand that, it will open up a few doors for you. So can you see, if I take the opening less the closing, it gives me my payment on loan is 348. Am I right? If I take my total payments less the interest, can you see the total payments less the interest? Will it also give me 348? Yes, because this is how much I paid on the loan and the interest. You see? And I also want you to see something. I hope this exercise shows it. I want you to quickly say 948 less 423. What do you get? What is the difference? Nine 448 less 4323 gives me 525 Dalmatians. I want you to quickly look on your loan. If there was a loan here, if they showed you the loan, that would be the amount in here, 525. The amount they give you in the trial balance, if they don't tell you it's the closing balance, and they give you the statement, you'll see that, can you see that amount will differ from the closing. What is the difference? And what's the 75? The interest on loan. Can you guys see that? Because what's the only thing not included here? We've done that one, we've done this one. Which one is not done? The interest. Okay. So everybody sharp. So my interest on expenses, interest expense is going to be 75. And please, with this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 marks. You cannot not show your calculation. Please show your calculation. So let's go on. And I think that's everything. Now, here they say repayments. I want you to please pay attention. This is a very important one. Here they say repayments for next year will stay fixed. Interest on loan will be 70,000. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how it will look in the balance sheet. Please, in the balance sheet, I will have non-current liability, loan, Rand Bank, and I want the closing balance less the short-term loan. Am I right? So then with current liabilities, I'll have the short-term loan. Okay. So now, what am I going to use? What is my closing balance? It's mos daar 600,000. What is my short-term loan? Now, if they didn't give me that info, I would use that 348. Okay? But now they give me something else. They say, repayments for next year will stay fixed. Meaning, I'm going to repay again 4,323. That's what I'm going to pay back next year also. But, can you see my interest is less than this year? Why is my interest less than this year? Because I paid back loan, eh? Look, the start of the year it was 900, now it's 600. So now I start this year with 600, 300,000 less, which means my interest is going to be less because the amount they calculate the interest on is smaller. Are we sure? Okay. So now they say I'm going to still pay back 423. But what do I know? That 423 is the payment on loan and it's the interest. So now the interest is going to be 70,000. So how much will I pay back next year? Can you see I'm going to pay back 353? Can you see that the amount that goes off on the loan is now going to be bigger than this current year? Why? Because my interest is less. So it's like if I have to do it in small amounts. If I pay back every month 10 Rand, and I say from that 10 Rand, 3 Rand is interest. How much goes to the loan? 7. Ne? But now I say to you, okay, now I'm still going to pay back 10 Rand, but because I owe less, my interest is only 2 Rand. How much is going to go off on the loan now? 8 Rand. Can you see the difference? If I say to you, every month you pay back 10 Rand, ne? That 10 Rand consists of what I pay on the loan and the interest on loan. If I say to you, year 1, the interest is 3 Rand. Can you see I pay back 7 Rand on the loan? But in year 2, now the total amount that I owe on the loan is smaller. So I say, you know what? Now my interest is only 2 Rand. Can you see I pay back more on the loan now? Okay, less of what I pay goes to interest. And that is why if you have those long-term loans, you'll see that the first 10 years of paying back your house, you basically pay interest. I pay about 10,600 a month, and from that 10,600, more than 8,000 is just interest. So I pay back 2,000 a month on my house, you see, where I pay back 8,000 on loans. But when I get to year 15, it's going to change. Then my interest is going to be like 2,000 and I pay back 8. So basically you pay off the biggest part of your loan itself towards the end of the loan, because then your interest becomes less. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. So that's all the transactions. I just want to show you the totals now. Can I have one of your papers? I'll finish it for you. Okay. So let's quickly look. Sales. Can everybody see here? He writes bietjie light, né? He writes bietjie very light. Let me make the brightness less. Shame, baby, are you tired? Okay, can you guys see better? Otherwise, can I have someone else who didn't write in pencil? Oh, nobody did it. Okay. So, let's just go on. Can I just tell you what was my biggest downfall in my second year at varsity? So, when you study BCom, I know it's recording, I want you to listen to it again. When you study BCom accounting, they have what they call test weeks, right? So in other words, you write tests, so you have what, four subjects in your second year, so you write those 4 subjects in that week, right? But you still have full class. You don't have free. But then usually what happens is, say you write accounting the evening, the accounting lecturer would say, you don't have to come to class today for accounting, ne? So that you can study. But then you somewhat take off economics and business and whatever else also, so that you can study. So that's what I did. And then what happens is the next week when you come back, then you're a week behind in everything. And you never catch up. So, don't fall in the trap of thinking you will catch up later, because your life is not going to get less busy next week. Ne? It's not. Because next week has its own things that comes. So please, don't stop doing homework because you write maths tomorrow. Because yes, now you've written the maths. After the maths, you still have to go to accounting and physical science and life science, and now you're behind. But that's why I just want to say thank you for you guys that you are at school, that you didn't stay home to study. Because those guys are going to be really behind. At least here, you can write down the memo. Okay. Sharp. So let's try again. So I see everything here is done. Did you make any mistakes? Did you fix the mistakes? Okay. So all the mistakes are fixed. I'm going to put it up like here if you want to quickly get all the totals. Okay.